Oh, hang on a sec. What's happened there? There we go. We are live. Hang on a sec. What is going on here? There we go. We're back. What is happening? That's what's happening. That's all right. Minor glitch there. We are back. There we go. Welcome, Johnny Carlton, to After the Game, episode 4. It's been a big, shocking week of football, and surprises, even up to the games today were just unbelievable. And how you been, bro? I know we've got a big game to talk about, but besides the main problem, how was your weekend?
Yeah, no, not bad, man. Obviously, Friday night was pretty disgusting, to be honest.
Yeah.
But just a small relaxing week. Just a relaxing weekend, you know. It's very cold in Melbourne, so I didn't do too much. Just stayed indoors and just tried to relax. But I watched a lot of footy, which was good. So yeah, I can't wait to talk about some footy. So
that's it. Yeah. Well, let's say good day to the chat. We've got Toby, JJ Masters is in, Scott's from Scotland is in, Mark from Scotland is in, J-Mar's in, Ree's doing the counts for us. So thank you guys for coming in and watching along. And our 4th episode already of After the Game. So we're doing well.
You're crazy, yeah. I can't believe episode 4 already.
I know. No, it's good. So, yeah, welcome everybody everybody who's watching along. Thanks for joining us on the show. And what we do here is we just have a bit of a chat about each of the games and see where we're sitting with the ladder and all that sort of thing. So yeah, all good. So let's tear the Band-Aid off straight away. And it was the Friday night game, and we may as well just throw ourselves right in the deep end, straight off the bat.
You want to bring it up? You want to bring it up first?
Or do you want to go last?
Nah, we'll go last.
All right. No worries. Last. All right. So Saturday we had North versus Geelong, and it was a pretty big win to the Geelong Cats down in Tassie, and pretty much expected, didn't you? Did you think?
Yeah. Look, as much as I wanted North Melbourne to win, so Geelong couldn't come up to Carlton. As much as I wanted North to win, look, they looked good in the first quarter. North Melbourne.
Did. They actually did. Yeah,
they went on a quick fire start. They kicked the first couple of goals, which was good. But yeah, as I said, obviously the experience, and they're not there yet. And Geelong obviously a top 8 team, so
yeah,
Geelong put the foot down after half time, and yeah, it was an expected result, to be honest. So
exactly.
Yeah, it was. I personally thought it was boring after the second half. I thought it was just a one-way show. Yep. If it was like the first half, I would have been more intrigued and more excited. But yeah, just obviously was a one-team show after half time, and yeah, Geelong needed that win. And everyone needs a win.
They did get a hold of them in that second half, didn't they? Geelong their experience showed out, and they just made them look a bit average, really. So yeah.
They did. Well, look, everyone needs a win these days. Officially, I can officially say I think now that we're down to 12 teams.
Yep.
I'm taking Gold Coast off the list now.
Yeah, me too. I did that today as well. When I was watching the last game, I thought, nah, Gold Coast are done now, so they can't. So they got beaten at home.
Yeah, so I think we're down to 12 teams, and look, a month to go, 12 teams left. It's anyone's ball game, King, to be honest. We're going to talk about this team soon, but a month ago, Essendon were top 4, and now they're out of the 8.
We're going to talk about them next. So
we're going to talk about them, which is very exciting. But
it is very. I knew you'd be very excited about that situation, so that's good.
I'm very excited about that. But look, as I said, Geelong needed a win. Everyone needs a win. The top 12 always need a win. So it was an important win for Geelong, and they're going to go 1 week at a time. So
yep. That's for sure. And what about the draft picks? Do you reckon North are going to be at the bottom, or do you reckon it's going to be Richmond going for the draft picks?
Well, they verse each other next week.
They do, yeah.
So it depends. Does one team want to win, or does one team want to lose on purpose and get the first draft pick?
Yeah. That's
It's
right.
going to be a very, very interesting game, to be honest. So,
it will be. Yep. But I can see a mass exodus out of Richmond going up to the Gold Coast, I think. So that could be on the cards as well. So we'll have to see what happens there. But I think we're going to talk about your second favourite game, I reckon, of the weekend. And look, I got to say, I'll watch this game. I did the watch along for this yesterday, and I've got to say that was probably St Kilda's best performance of the year.
100%.
They were, the way that they came out of their back end they used the corridor so well, didn't they?
Oh, mate.
It was I haven't seen them play like that. If that's what they're going to play like in the future, far out, man, they're going to be a bloody great side to watch. Very Hawthorn-esque sort of thing. But mate, where did that come from?
Well, look, as I said, this is probably one of the only games I didn't watch because I watched the replay though when I got home, so I didn't watch it live, so I couldn't experience it live. But I was looking in because obviously Brisbane were playing at the same time.
Yep.
And I'm a Brisbane. Well, second favorite team is Brisbane, so I was watching them.
Mm-hmm.
But I was looking down on the Fox Footy channels and I see St Kilda smashing the Bombers. The smile just kept smiling. I just couldn't stop smiling, King.
Yeah, I know.
I was loving life, but look, as I said, the Bombers fly up. They're not flying up anymore, King. I'm telling you about that.
They're not flying anywhere. The wings have been clipped.
Mate, they're crashed, mate. They've gone. They're gone. They're crashed. They're gone. And a month ago, Essendon fans were like, "Oh, we beat Collingwood. We're going to be top 4." You're out of the 8 now, mate. What are you talking about?
They're 10th. I can't believe they're 10th.
I love it, King. This is where they should be. They did not deserve to be in the top 4 at all, King.
Yeah.
And Kilda, out of all teams, dish that up against yous. Come on, Essendon, please. I thought you were a top 8 contender spot, but obviously you're not. But look, the Saints, they had nothing to play for. They just want to show some spirit at the end. Ross Lyon said he wants to be the Grinch, and he wants to spoil some parties.
He wants to spoil some parties, and I think he's going to do that as well. Like last week they showed it as well. Big score last week as well. So yeah, they're coming to upset a few teams. That's for sure.
Oh, I can't wait. And look, they've got Brisbane next week. Hopefully for our sake, for Carlton's sake, they end Brisbane. As much as I like Brisbane, I just hope the Grinch shows up again next week and they do it again against Brisbane in Marvel. But look, King, that was pretty much one of my favourite games this week. I watched it replay, came home Saturday night, enjoyed it. I was cheering St Kilda on. I already knew the result. Yeah. But good to watch. Good to see all these Essendon fans chucking in their scarves on the ground.
Throwing the scarf. Did you? It was like they did the Carlton abuse in the race as well. Did you see that as well?
I love it. Yeah,
crazy.
I loved it.
They were just losing it. But so has it taken St Kilda like half a year pretty much to get a team, like get their team play together? Like where has this been like at the big, like in the first half of the year? Is it just development of the young players, or what do you reckon?
Yeah, look, well, I said a couple of months ago, I think St Kilda need a big rebuild at the end of the season.
Yep.
If they really want to make finals, they got to have a bigger rebuild. I think some players need to find new positions. I think new coaches need to come in. I think new players need to come in.
Yeah.
A lot of players need their confidence. Like Max King's probably been the worst full forward this year, to be honest, in my eyes. I thought Max King was going to be up there, but he's been actually terrible this year.
Yep.
As I said, that a lot of players need confidence, but I think they just need a big rebuild. I just think now that they have nothing to lose, they don't care if they get smashed. They just want to take it on teams, and they're trying new things, and it's working against Essendon.
It is.
Essendon was under the pressure. They needed to win. They couldn't handle the pressure. St Kilda had no pressure at all.
Yep.
And look what happened. They got the job done. So
yeah. No, I was talking to Sad Sandwich came in late because he was at the game. Very happy Sad Sandwich, and he said the same thing about King as well as you did. That he's not he doesn't need to be there. He's not missed at all.
Yeah, exactly. They've got Caminiti, they've got Membry, they've got Sharman, they've got Higgins, they've got that. But
Caminiti had a great game, didn't he?
Caminiti's a superstar. He's gonna become one of a good full forwards. I think Caminiti is going to be better than King in a couple of years. But look, I think you still need King there. Because if King's up there in confidence, he's a really good marking tall dot option down there, and he can kick goals. But this year he has had no confidence at all. So
And what do you and you've been saying it for a long time? They're the pretenders, and
they are the pretenders, mate.
They're just not. They were just terrible all over the ground.
Another 365 days without them winning a final is going to sound so good to me, mate. So they are pretenders. Dear. I said to everyone, and on Tuesday, everyone in the chat on Tuesday. This is going to be copped. I've got a whole paragraph in here just for the Essendon fans.
The book's coming out. There we go.
The book's coming out. But yes, now let's move on because
congratulations to St Kilda. Get to score over 100 against Essendon, and the way that they performed was just an outstanding game of footy. The type of footy they played was just really entertaining to watch, and well done. Well done, the Saints. We did move on to Brisbane and the Gold Coast. And Brisbane are just the, I'm not going to say they're the dark horses, but I think they're going to be in top spot. Maybe moving Sydney out of number one spot in the next couple of weeks. I don't know.
I think they've left it. I think they've left it too late to finish top of the ladder. They'll definitely be top four, but I think they've just left it too late.
Yep.
Because look, as I said, Sydney's still a game ahead, and I just feel like Doggies needed that win too. Obviously, we're going to talk about it later, but but Brisbane, wow. Yeah, I told you on Tuesday, and if anyone's a WWE reference, the streak is over. The streak is over. Gold Coast, your streak is over.
Done. Yeah.
Bye-bye. But
exactly.
Look, I told you in Chris C and J Crom 2 months ago, I said to you after the bye, Brisbane's not losing another game.
Yep.
And they've now won 8 in a row. They've gone 2 months. I said they were going to do a Carlton and win 9 in a row.
Yep.
And classify them as, and looked at what they've done. They've won 8 in a row. They've beat Sydney. They beat Port in Port. They beat Gold Coast in Gold Coast that no one has been able to beat Gold Coast at home this year. As I said, they've had hard challenges, but
they have.
They're there, and I'm telling you, they're going to finish top 4. So if you're going to verse Brisbane in the finals, make sure you bring your all, because if you're going up to the Gabba and you're versing Brisbane over there,
you're
going to need every single chance and every single way to get to Brisbane. So
that's exactly right. Yeah. And I was talking to, because I did the Collingwood and Richmond game today and over on this channel, and talking to some Richmond supporters, and they are pretty guaranteed that there's a few Richmond players heading off to the Gold Coast next season to try and strengthen up that inexperience that they've got. So, if Dusty finishes off his last season and is on a couple of $1 million a year and just kicking back and surfing, I can't see that being too much of a problem, So but just Brisbane just too good. They're a classy outfit, aren't they? So the Gold Coast just, even at home, they just weren't good enough. They did kick 9 goals, 11, but still it was too much. So
it was a close game. All right, it was a close game. It was a battle to the end.
Yep.
Obviously, you were probably watching the St Kilda Essendon game, so you probably didn't see a lot of it.
Yep. No, I just caught the end.
Yeah, but it was a battle of the end, and as I said, Gold Coast needed to win this to keep their season alive, and unfortunately they didn't, and it was a must-win, and now we're down to 12 teams. So
that's it.
Unfortunately for Gold Coast, they if they want to make finals, they got to start winning away from home next year. King, they can't win all their games at home and depended on that. They needed wins away from home this year, and they couldn't get it done.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So a question in the chat, Hawks or Brisbane, who's had the best season turnaround? Both teams were pretty much dead in the water at the beginning of the season. So
well, look, I think it's equal at the moment. I think Brisbane and Hawthorn are the most hottest team in the AFL right now.
Yep.
Look, as I said, Hawthorn's won 7 of their 8 last. Brisbane's won 8 in a row. So I would say Brisbane, because Hawthorn did beat Brisbane earlier in the season.
Yep.
I would think Brisbane has a bit more of a turnaround. And they started the season 0-4 as well. And they were in the grand final last year as well. So I think Brisbane have had a massive turnaround. And as I said, I think Hawthorn have been terrific as well. No, don't get me wrong, but I think Brisbane have just been a bit better than Hawthorn.
Yep. And Genmore reckons that Sydney's lost their momentum. They've got the injuries now, so they might struggle.
They could.
And you didn't think that they could win out of Sydney anyway. So
no.
So they're going to be danger times for them as well. So yeah. Well, let's have a chat about probably I'm not going to say the worst game, but the worst attended game of the Saturday night. Look, I know that it rains, and I know that it's wet and it's cold and it's windy in Melbourne, and the MCG is a horrible place to sit in level 1 and try and watch the footy when it's disgusting weather. But to get 16,000 to the MCG last night and to see it on telly and see the MCG empty like that, what are you doing, Melbourne supporters? Far out.
Look, as I said, mate, it's funny how last night there was so many empty seats, but then this Saturday against Carlton Collingwood, there's not going to be a single seat empty.
That's exactly right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just how... And look, Melbourne's season are not over, so I don't know why their supporters didn't show up. Their season's not over.
Exactly.
They can still make finals.
Yep.
And you're having your captain back in the game, and you're having good ins, and you've been playing all right. You beat Essendon a couple of weeks ago when no one thought you would.
Exactly.
Without Gawn and Petrarca.
Yep.
And look, I think they gave it to GWS. I think they did. So yeah, for their fans not to show up, that's actually pathetic on their behalf, to be honest.
Look, we know that GWS don't have any fans down here, and they don't get a lot of people. So
obviously,
but a couple of thousand fans from GWS. But you talk about like Collingwood, Richmond today. I was in the city. There was Collingwood supporters everywhere. There was Richmond supporters everywhere, all going to the game. It was raining in the morning. And these two teams are down the bottom in the bottom end of the table. They're not in Melbourne's position, but their supporters will go and watch their team.
Exactly.
So yeah, very disappointing from Melbourne. 2 points, only 2 points the difference, but GWS managed to stay in the 8 and have a nice position up there with that win. So that's a good win away from home for sure.
Yeah, look, well, as I said, I was hoping Melbourne would win, obviously for Carlton reasons. Yep. I didn't want GWS that close, but look, they nearly did. I was hoping for Melbourne, and Melbourne didn't look bad. I wouldn't say they looked bad. I thought Oliver had an all right game. I thought that was one of his better games.
I thought they played okay.
Yeah, I thought they played okay. Gawn, it's his first game back from injury. You can't make him a superstar. No. He did all right, Gawn. Yep. But look, the Giants are in, as I said, Carlton have now made GWS in form. Ever since GWS beat Carlton, they've been unstoppable, the Giants.
Yeah.
They've won their last 4 out of 4. So they're fighting for their season alive too. You know, it's very important to get a win now. And now the Giants are a game clear of 9th spot now. So a little bit of relaxation, because if they lose, they could not be out of the 8. But if they lost on the weekend, they would be 9th right now.
Exactly.
Or they would be 10th. So, yeah, look, as I said, obviously Melbourne, they're 11th now. I don't think their season's over yet. I think big game next week, Melbourne. They need a win next week.
They do. Yep.
But yeah, as I said, it's getting to the end, and
It's not
As I said, Giants.
it's not a good position to be in. Like this weekend has really put them in a bad position on the table.
Yeah.
And it's going to be
Yeah.
it's going to be a fight to get in, because that bottom there, you're talking about 6 teams that are
Exactly.
trying to get that last spot.
But it's when you look at it, it's Bulldogs, Hawthorn, Collingwood. They're all fighting. They're all out of the A, and they're fighting for their season alive. And that's what now Melbourne need to do this week, because if they don't do what the Doggies and Hawthorn did and fight for their season, they could be gone.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a big game, and I reckon if they had more of a crowd there, I reckon the Demons would have gone up. Well, I just think that's disrespectful.
That's what I thought too. Like I'm watching the game, and I thought if your supporter base was there supporting you and your fans are behind you, surely that momentum, 30,000, 40,000 people would have been giving you that. They only lost by 2 points.
Exactly.
So, 20,000 people. Yeah. That's huge for
exactly.
So GWS and Hawthorn next week, huge game from
huge
Mark.
Game.
It's going to be massive. Yeah. We'll have to do a watch along for that. I love doing the Hawks games. And Genwell reckons early banana. He reckons Hogan for blocking that kick, or the play trying to kick it, or not handballing it to Hogan.
Yeah, that is a good banana. That is a good banana shower. I need to do my banana of the week tonight. I need to look at some research, but yeah, that could be one of the bananas. So
and I don't think you can give the Essendon team the banana again. You can't give it out twice, can you? So you can't do that.
You can't give it twice, no.
So there we go. Then we went over to, and I watched the end of this one, and over to the west, and it was the local derby or derby, whatever they call it over there. And Fremantle versus West Coast. And in the end, Fremantle just too good. But West Coast led pretty much.
They did.
In the first half.
They did.
So I thought, here we go. We've got something's going on here. But the new Fremantle team came out in the second half and really put them to the sword. So and a few concerning. When I was watching, I pretty much watched the whole of the second half of this one. And some of the concerning issues for West Coast is that Harley Reid has got an anger management problem, I think. And Yo was pretty much on him and dragging him off the situations almost the whole second half, which is really, really concerning. Did you see that?
I did see that, yes. Well, there was 18 charges just in that game of fines.
18 charges. That's
18 players got fines. 18, but I love that. I love the fines.
Oh, we haven't seen it all in brawl like that for ages.
Yeah, I want more fights. I actually loved it.
Yeah.
But look, I thought West Coast played a better game than what they have in the last couple of weeks. I thought that was a better game from West Coast. Obviously, it's a derby, so that's why there was probably a reason why they rang up the heat. But you're talking about a dark horse, mate. Freo are the dark horse. I'm telling you now. No one thought Freo was going to be top 8. No one thought Freo was going to be top 4 this year. They are the dark horse king. They are the dark horse of the AFL this year.
That's right. Yep. Yeah, JJ saying Harley Reid, no offense, but he spoils every game and gives away free kicks every 5 minutes, which is he gives away a lot of free kicks, and he does some dangerous things as well. And there was 3 suspensions from that game as well. Wow, that's crazy, isn't it?
I love it though. I love it. I personally love it.
And Fife was one. Did Fife get suspended as well? Did he?
He did, yeah. But I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be fine. They're going to review it. I think he's going to be fine.
Right. Okay. So the Freo way to go. They are sitting nicely in third spot, and mate, they're just nobody's talking about them, and it's an interesting thing. When I lived in Perth, the eastern states media never talks about the teams in the West, and West Coast and Fremantle's can just go along nicely through the year, and all the Melbourne media talks about is the Melbourne teams, which is always the case. And they never talked about West Coast when they were coming either. And for Freo just to be nicely not under the radar and just going along and sitting in, they're as good as Brisbane. There's no doubt. I had some people in the chat saying today it could be a Brisbane Freo grand final. So that'd be a disaster. Far out.
Well, not. It'll be disaster for the crowd. I wouldn't personally hate it because I like Brisbane.
It'd be a good game. It'd be a great game. Yeah,
it would.
Two really good game.
Yeah, but it won't get 100,000. I don't reckon.
No.
I think that it'll be hard to find 100,000 rock up at the MCG.
They'll be giving a few tickets away. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Just can't stand Freo. They're annoying little brother to West Coast, and I can't deal with West Coast talking shit more than Freo. Yeah, that's always the case, Genwell, where it's the West Coast Eagles are the talk of the town and the love of West Coast. They get all the paper, all the newspaper coverage. They get all the 6PR coverage and everything. So Freo is the little brother, but Freo is a much better team than West Coast gonna be for the next couple of years. That's for sure. So interesting. Then we come to today's games, and what an interesting lot of games this was. Chris set me up with a live ladder, so I had the live ladder going on the watch along, so that was really good. So we were able to watch last night. Oh, we did it last night, and then I did it for the two games today, so that was really good to see the movement there, and see the Dogs move into the A. But Collingwood versus Richmond today, and I reckon they would have got maybe 35 there. It looked about 35, 40, something like that.
Yeah, I heard 48.
Was it 48? See, that's a good turnout for their team that's down the bottom of the table compared to 16 the night before. Yeah,
but as I said, King, they're the two highest crowd attendance. Richmond have 100K. Yeah. Richmond have 100,000. Collingwood have 100,000. So
true. Yeah.
But I get it why Richmond fans are not showing up because obviously they're done with this year. They just want it to be over.
Yeah.
Only the diehard supporters would go to the game. So
yep.
But as I said, no. Look, Collingwood needed this win. I'm personally saying for Carlton's sake, thank God Collingwood won today.
Yep.
Because imagine if they lost today and then they would bring up Carlton next week on Pendlebury's 400. Oh mate, we would lose.
I know. But also you also don't want Richmond bringing Collingwood back into form as well and coming into the 400th game either. So
yeah, well, it was going to happen. One of it was going to happen. So, but look, as I said, Collingwood, they can still make it. They if they lost this week, they would have been over. It would have been season over, I reckon. But they need to win every game from here. But they've got Collingwood, they've got Carlton, Sydney, and Brisbane in the next 3 weeks. Yeah,
that's right. Exactly. Yeah.
Carlton, Sydney, and Brisbane. Good luck to your Collingwood fans.
Exactly. Yeah.
Look, there's going to be a promo coming out for Johnny Carlton on Thursday. I've made a documentary about Carlton Collingwood.
Very good.
So that's going to be out and about. So, but it would be so good if Carlton can ruin Collingwood's season next week.
Exactly.
Just ruin the party. Oh, that would be so good, King. But yeah, look, Collingwood, they got their mojo back today. I know it's against Richmond, but they found some form. Some players found some form. And sets up a big game for Carlton Collingwood next week. So
I don't think I'm doing the watch along for this one, and I don't think Collingwood were that good, to be honest.
They're not as good as they were last year. No way.
I wasn't as a Carlton supporter. I wasn't concerned that they turned around. I wasn't concerned at all. I know how bad Carlton are going. I understand that they're struggling, and they've been struggling the last 3 weeks. But I still think that watching Collingwood today, that Carlton have got can get them. So I think so.
I hope you're right.
Yeah,
I really do hope you're right.
Yeah, there was so many turnovers in that game today. They just couldn't get a run going. They're not the Collingwood they were. And of course, it's going to be a massive occasion for next week for the 400. That's for sure. But we'll have to see. Again, we're saying agrees with Scott's. I agree with the Bombers fans showing emotion and the media trying to ban that. It's just ridiculous. And this happened to Carlton as well, didn't it? When you guys gave your team a razz up, the media tried to shut it all down as well. But it's passion. Like you support your team for years and years and years, and they keep on dishing up the same old crap all the time. And the Essendon supporters have just had enough, had a gutful. So, that's what
funny to watch.
That's what you need. So there we go. Yeah, 16,000 down at last night, so that wasn't good at the MCG. A question to both of you: who will come out for Andrews? Jamar's asking a question for you both: who will come out for Andrews?
You mean Harris Andrews?
Harris Andrews. I think it's Harris Andrews, Jamar.
Well, I think Hipwood will go back to the forward line.
Okay. Yeah, because he's Brisbane.
He was playing back, so I think Hipwood will go to the forward line and take out like Tunstall or something like that. So
that's it. Chris C, you haven't missed out on the Port Carlton view because we've saved it to last. So lucky you did. I nearly gave Johnny Carlton a heart attack when I said, "Let's go, let's take the Band-Aid off straight away." No. So no, we're all good. We're saving the best to last. So anyway, I'm going to skip the Bulldogs game for a second. I'm going to go to Hawks and Adelaide. I did the watch along for this. I was looking for. I enjoy watching the Hawks, and I thought they'd beat Adelaide, but I didn't think they'd beat them in such a manner as to playing in Adelaide. Adelaide had a lot to play for. They were still they could still have made it, and today was the end of it. But they're not even close. But the way that Hawthorn today put Adelaide to the sword, mate, this is a good team. 10, 124 for Hawthorn. That's that. They are good.
As I said, King, them and Brisbane are the most informed team in the comp right now, and they're fighting for their season of life. We all said it a month ago, me, you, and Chris C.
Yep.
We won't be surprised if Hawthorn make the finals. We won't be surprised.
No doubt. Yep.
But somehow people are still surprised and confused. I'm like, how do you not watch Hawthorn in the last 2 months? They're killing teams.
Yeah,
they
killed
are. 66 points last week.
Yep.
And you thought Adelaide was going to beat Hawthorn? No chance.
No chance. No, that's right. Yeah, no, I've been very bullish, as you know, for months now, and I think that they're going to make the 8. I couldn't believe the Dogs, the way the Dogs played today, but I thought they're even now. So I think the percentage, I think Hawthorn will continue to kick big scores and get their percentage up. So.
I don't know. They've got a hard month now, King. They've got a very hard month.
Yeah.
They've got GWS, Carlton in the next 2 weeks. If they lose both of that, I think it's all over for them.
We're all done, you reckon, these 2 games? Oh, they might be able to get GWS. You never know.
They could. Obviously, it's going to be here. No, is it here?
Yep.
Is it here? Or is it in Tassie?
Hang on.
I think it's in GWS. I think it's in Sydney.
GWS. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's on Sunday.
Well, that's hard. Giants are in form, and they've won for it.
Yep.
So Hawthorn need to go to Sydney to versus GWS, and then they've got Carlton. So
that's true.
If they don't win any of those games, there's only 2 more games after that, and depending on other results, they could. I don't know, King. We need to go week by week. We can't.
I know. You can't even look. You can't even look 2 weeks ahead, can you?
No, you can't.
It's just like from first to 12th is just you can't. You don't know what is going to happen.
No.
So, yeah. It's Giants Blues, the next challenge. Is Giants Blues the next challenge now?
Well, that's who Hawthorn have, Giants and the Blues. If that's what you're saying, then yes.
That's right. Yeah, Gemwin's a Hawk supporter, so yeah. Is the only Pies and Crows the last 2 weeks, but I'm surprised they've scored plus 110. That's the big difference, you know. The amount that that Adelaide got scored on today, and they were in the game. I really was enjoying the game in the first half. It was a really, like, Adelaide came to play. They stood up. Their senior players were playing well, and the pressure was good. And I don't know, when they go to half time and they come back out on the field, I don't know what the fuck happens at half time with Adelaide. They come out and they just play like shit. I don't know what happens.
Look, as I said, I don't know how and what you thought that Adelaide still had a chance in finals. I think you've been listening to Jay Crom a bit.
It was only if they won all their games that they might be able to do it. It wasn't going to happen. Yeah.
It wasn't going to happen. So for them to have a slight chance was not going to happen, all right? Let's be real.
No, that's right. Exactly. Take care, JJ. See you later, mate. Thanks for coming in.
But yeah, as I said, Hawthorn, them and Brisbane are the most informed team at the club, and you're going up against Hawthorn like that.
Yeah.
There was no chance. But as I said, next week should be a real big test for the Hawks. So
that's it. Yeah, no, it should be good. All right. The shock of the weekend, I would say. So the Bulldogs go to Sydney, and everybody's going, "Oh, it'd be good if the Bulldogs got a win." And did they get a win and a half?
Mate, they killed Sydney from the start.
37-1 it was at one stage.
Yeah, it was 36 points at the start.
It was.
Mate, Heaney has not been in form in the last month. I don't know what the hell Heaney's done after his suspension. Yep. Papley's a huge out. They just look broken. That's the SCG you're talking about.
They just look broken. I know.
The last 6 weeks, they've only won one game, King. They've only won one game in the last 6 weeks. They've lost to Freo, St Kilda, Brisbane, Bulldogs, Freo, St Kilda, Brisbane, Bulldogs, and someone else. I can't remember.
Yep.
But as I said, they've only won one game in the last 6 weeks. How are they still on top of the ladder? Well, that's you got to give them credit. They had a brilliant start.
They've had a great start. Yeah.
But they're under the waters now. Everyone's seeing they're feeling the pressure now. The Swans for the first time this year. They're feeling the pressure.
Yep. Papley going out with the injury last week. That was a big
Rampy
loss.
As well. Rampy controls that back line too.
Rampy as well. Yep.
Amadi hasn't been good ever since that 9-goal game against Adelaide. He's been nowhere. Like, it's just all these players don't have confidence at the moment. Chad Warner only 11 disposals today.
That's unbelievable, isn't it? 11 disposals. Yeah. Geez, you're not putting any Sydney players in your multis anymore, are you? Jeez.
Mate, they are hard. But as I said, look, all credit to the Dogs. They're fighting for their season of life. Bulldogs have beat Carlton, Geelong, and Sydney in the last 3 weeks.
Yep.
After the Port
question
game,
in the chat, are Sydney keeping their spot?
I think they are. I don't know. I still think they are, but
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got a few hard games. So if Brisbane keep on winning as you think they are going to do, are they knocking Sydney off the top spot?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they'll take the minor premiership. Jeez, it's looking a lot like last year, except for Collingwood being there, doesn't it? So
can't believe it. That before the round 11, they were 14th on the ladder.
They were
15th on the ladder.
They were.
Now they might finish minor premiers. Oh my!
They were written off. They were written off earlier, early in the season. They were completely written off, and the coach is going, "What the hell is going on here?" And then all of a sudden,
bang, bang,
bang,
bang,
bang, bang, they go. Yeah.
Wait, I'll be back. Talk to the chat. I'll be back 1 second.
No worries. I'm telling you, King, they're not winning the flag. So yeah, no, I don't know. Well, Johnny Carlton reckons that Sydney couldn't win win a flag in Melbourne anyway at the MCG. So whichever team it's going to be, if they manage to get a home final, then I guess they've got a chance of getting a bit of a win at home. But if they manage to drop out and they're not getting, and they've got to come to Melbourne to play one of the finals, geez, they're easily going out if they. Whoop, what happened there? There we go. He's back.
I'm back. Not staying. I don't know why. Okay.
Jesus, all over the place. The laptop's coming soon. Don't worry. So all good. It's Brisbane at home. Like they're looking to be very good and be in a like home final for sure. But if Sydney have to travel to play a final, then they're in all sorts of trouble.
100%. I don't know, but I've told you I don't think Sydney can win a flag in Melbourne. Yeah. I just don't think they can play Melbourne. That's right. So
exactly. Yep. So there we go. Blues could have gotten top spot. Crows supporters, what the hell is going on? Yeah, that's a very good question. I don't think the Crows supporters know what's going on either. So,
are we able to skip this game or not? Really don't want to talk about this game.
We'll just don't get us banned. Just don't get us banned on YouTube because I'm sure we're trying to grow here. So let's talk about it. All right.
You say your piece first.
All right.
Because
Friday night, watched the game, and again, Carlton looked good. They came out and they played. They played pretty good. There seems to be Charlie. I know that Harry went out, which wasn't good, but he just seemed to be left alone. He was doing all the work down there, and the small forwards needed to do a bit more. But then after the halftime break, for then Port to come out and to put the pressure on, and for Carlton to not handle that pressure and just capitulate like they did. And it was a 35 point turnaround in the game. I don't know. I don't know what the issue is. I don't know whether it's coaching, whether it's selection. The forward line just seems to be. Is it the same thing as you were talking about a couple of weeks ago, where Chera and is it the same old players doing the same old thing? Is that what you reckon?
A little bit. There's a bit of a slight difference, but a little bit.
I think they're still okay to turn around. Like Port were pretty desperate. They were going to fall out of the 8. Like if they got beaten, they were heading south pretty quickly. So there was big incentive for Port to win. But I just don't know. Thanks, Mark. Thanks for coming in. I know it's a different time zone over there, so thanks, mate. I appreciate you coming in and joining us. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure where the issue is. I just think Port looked like they wanted it more. Their pressure was harder in the second half, and that led to points being scored. They scored a little bit too easy through the middle, and once they got into the 50 as well. So yeah, there's a lot of work to do, I think. So what do you reckon? Tell us how you're feeling without getting us taken off the air.
Okay, well,
I can give you 3. Like you get almost 3 days to just calm down. So it's a bit better,
Look, I'm a bit better than I was Friday night. Let's just put it with that.
Yep.
I was not in the mood for Friday night, and I'm going to give a shout out. Thank you for Chris C for not texting me. I appreciate that. That was amazing. I give him more respect for that, for not messaging me. He knew how I was after a Carlton game, so he left me all alone.
Yep.
As I said, he was happy. Fair enough. Your team won. That's fair enough. Look, before the game, I was on the train with my old man that hasn't come to a Carlton game in a very long time.
Yep.
And I love going to the games with my old man because we don't do it a lot. And he's about to leave Melbourne for good, so he's about to move into state. So This was probably our last game together. I wanted to win. We're on the train. Breaking news: Harry Mackay's out. I'm like,
yeah, I know. Yep.
And I said to my mate, now I got angry on the train, and everyone was looking at me at the train. They go, this one guy comes up to me and goes, mate, the game hasn't even started, and you're going berserk. I'm like, mate, listen to me. When I tell you what's going to happen tonight, and you see what happened tonight, he got my TikTok and he messaged me after the game and he said, I can't believe you were right.
Yep.
You're a mind reader. Anyways, Harry went out. I'm like, oh, we've lost. My dad and my mate go, what do you mean we've lost? I'm like, I'm telling you now, if you watch Carlton closely, we cannot play without Harry Mackay. The last month, Harry Mackay has been very important to us, and we cannot play without Harry Mackay, right?
Yep.
I said to my mate, I'm like, watch Radigalia play forward. Watch Radigalia play forward now that Harry Mackay is out.
Yep.
The Port have probably seen that. And what? Who's going to go on Radigalia? Brody Kemp? Brody Kemp, he's going to get destroyed. Port Adelaide was so smart. They were like, yeah, look, Radigalia was going to go on Harry Mackay. That was what was going to happen, right? Aaliyah was going to go to Charlie Curnow, and Zirk Thatcher was going to go to probably our third tall Kennedy or something like that. But Port knew they were smart. Their coaches were smart. They're like, no, we're going to put Radigalia forward, and we're going to cause Carlton to not let McGovern run, because then if Radigalia goes forward, McGovern has to play on Georgiades.
Yep.
And McGovern can't be that third interception mark. So there goes all our structure, right? And the last month, we've been kicking it down the line so much, right? So much down the line. Harry has been our target, yeah? And I said, we're losing. And I'm screaming at the coach. I'm like, why the hell would you bring Lewis Young in? What the hell is Lewis Young going to do? Like, we've lost. Anyways, the game starts. I'm already angry as it is. Two guys are playing on Charlie Curnow the whole freaking game. I'm like, oh, this is going to be terrible. Look, not going to lie, they shut me up in the second quarter. When Carlton were on that roll, I'm like, if they can play like that and use the freaking ball and play through the corridor and get our smalls to use the ground, we're going to win this game. After half-time, King, we only scored one goal.
I know.
Goal after half-time. Are you serious?
I know.
We're a top 4 team and we're kicking one goal. Even North Melbourne kicks more goals than us after half-time.
Yep.
One goal flat. That's pathetic. That is disgusting.
It is. Yep.
That is disgusting. And I said my dad was fuming. My old man was trying to calm me down. It was not working. I don't know why. I don't know what we are doing the last month. Why the hell is Terra playing fullback? Why is Terra playing in the back line? Why?
Yeah.
We're a month away from freaking finals, and Voss wants to try new things. Play Terra in the back line. Play Kennedy as the third forward. They move Brody Kemp to the forward line. Are you serious? Now, every team knows how to play against us, King. If Cripps is getting tagged and Charlie's out of the contest, we're lost. Because what? I don't know where the hell Walsh has been. Where's Chera? Where's Kennedy? Where's Hewitt? Where's our midfield?
And when Walsh is getting tagged, he can't play as well.
Oh, they've all just gone soft.
Your midfield. Our midfield used to be the powerhouse, and you used to go through the corridor all the time, and just I don't know what's happened. They just don't use the corridor anymore. They're going down the sides. And remember, you were saying a couple of weeks ago, they taking marks out on the wing and trying to kick from out here rather than coming into the centre. But Kennedy coming back in, that was a good in, obviously, but just positionally, like For me, and I said this to you last week, Chera coming back into the side has turned Carlton into what they used to back in the old days. Remember? When he wasn't playing, there was a hot bloody Carlton side. Chera comes back in. Ever since Chera's come back in, and I'm sure he's a good player and everything like that, but I don't know what it is.
The whole team has shut the bed. Chincotta was one of the best taggies in the last month.
Yep.
He's gone missing now, Chincotta.
Yeah.
Like, there's no point. This team does not know how to coach. And with due respect, Port Adelaide had nothing to do with it. I don't want to hear good coaching. I don't want to hear Port were better than us. They were better than us. But it was just shit coaching from us. We were 30 points up. How can you go from 30 points up to only kicking one goal? That's not because of the opposition coaching. That's not because of our players. That's because of Michael Voss and his coaches. Why are you kicking down the line to Fogarty and Motlop? They're not tall. Zerk Thatcher ate that ball alive down the freaking line. We don't have Harry. Charlie has Aaliyah, and Bergman or Zerk Thatcher on him all freaking game.
Yep.
They bring. Why did you bring Lewis Young in? Why didn't you put Jordan Boyd in the back line and then move Chera into the midfield and then move Paddy Cripps down there?
Yeah.
In the forward line. Try something new. Why would you play Chera halfback? I don't understand. Why, if Boyd is healthy, why are you putting Boyd? Why are you putting Chera in the back line? I don't.
Yeah. Because you lose, now, as Chris says, you lose Tom de Koning and in the ruck, and then you lose Akers as well. Two massive outs for us.
And Mackay.
Mackay. They're three massive outs.
Look, I personally thought Pitternet played well. Pitternet was probably really good in my eyes. I thought Pitto was good. So I didn't think Tom de Koning was a huge loss in this game personally.
Yeah.
I think we could have done without de Koning. But Akers and Mackay, oh my God.
I know.
Now Akers is so important to us. I don't even understand. But the most important player to us is Harry Mackay.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah. So what was it? Was it illness or was it like a head knock?
It was illness. He had a flu. He woke up that thing, and
so they were saying as well that it might have been a head knock, but it wasn't.
So that's just the media talking rubbish.
Is it? Yeah. Okay. So if he needs a week to recover, then he'll be back next week, which would be good. So how long's Akers out for?
No, he's back next week too.
Okay, so he's back as well. Mate.
It's just as I said, King. This is the game we needed to win. This is a game we needed to make sure we're locked in the top 2 spot, and we would have been a legit one game away from Sydney.
But you also said that you wanted to lose to Port so you can beat Collingwood.
Exactly. Yeah. Obviously, that's true too. But as I said, we shouldn't be losing to Port.
You shouldn't. We shouldn't be
losing
to
Port in Melbourne.
Yep.
To Port in Melbourne, we shouldn't be losing to Port in Melbourne. No. Last time Port came to Melbourne, they barely beat St Kilda.
Yep.
And you guys were at that game. Port were trash.
Yeah, they were.
They were terrible.
No doubt about that. Yep.
Now, this is what gets me angry, right? And this is not Carlton related. Look, the only Port Adelaide supporter I like is Chris C, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm telling you right now. These guys were chanting Ken Hinkley is a god. A month ago, you were booing him. You were telling him to get the hell out of the club.
Exactly.
What do you mean he's a god?
Yeah.
Oh, I had a fight with this guy. I'm like, get the hell back to Port Adelaide where you belong because you are a Fruit Loop. You're cheering Ken Hinkley like this. Yeah. But a month ago, you're probably at Adelaide Oval booing him.
Exactly.
And wanting him out of your club, you Fruit Loop.
They would have been for sure. Yeah.
Oh, and now Port think, we beat Carlton now. We're a top 4 team. You're not a top 4 team, Port Adelaide. All right? The only Port Adelaide supporter that I'll give credit to was Chris C because he didn't boo his team. He stick by his team.
He does.
All you other Port Adelaide fancy boo-hoos.
Yep.
Port Adelaide are good now because you beat Carlton. Relax. Get out of here, man. Sick of this shit. Carlton, that was pathetic. I was disgusted. I'm pathetic. And if we don't beat Collingwood, our season's over, King. I'm telling you right now, if we don't beat Collingwood this week, our season's over.
You have to beat Collingwood. Yep.
We cannot take this as a rival game. We need to end Collingwood's season this week. We need to show why we are in the top 4.
That's exactly right. You do. Exactly.
Chera
So what do
needs
you?
to play midfield.
So what do you do? What do you do with Chera? What do you do? Put him in the midfield?
What? Take him out. I didn't give an F, King. Take him out. Play him VFL.
Yeah.
Get his confidence back.
Yeah.
Gosh, it's just Akers comes in. Ollie Hollands needs a break. The poor kid can't even run. He's so sore.
Yeah.
The kid can't even run.
Yeah.
Cottrell looks confused.
Yeah.
Like Motlop is all right. Fogarty's been all right. Cunningham. Well, don't even want to talk about Cunningham. The poor kid comes back, breaks his shoulder in the first 5 minutes.
Unbelievable. I know.
Jack Carroll had one of the best games last week, and you put him as the sub.
Yep.
If Chincotta does not go to Nick Dacos this week, King, it's all over. If Chincotta does not go to Nick Dacos,
he's got to tag Dacos for sure.
Look, personally, before we go to the ladder, what I think Jack Martin, Harry Mackay, and Blake Acres all need to come in.
Yep.
All right. I think Ollie Hollands needs to go out for a week.
Yep.
Managed.
Yep.
I think Jordan Boyd also needs to come in as well. I think Chera needs to be omitted. I think he needs a break. I think he needs to play VFL this week.
Yep.
You need Jack Martin as a third tall option because if Harry and Charlie are up the ground, we have no forward option, and Jack Martin gives us that third tall option. It's just, as I said, if you play three talls like Bulldogs and Port Adelaide do the last couple of weeks, and it's showing why they are good, and Geordie Artis loves playing against Carlton for some reason. Love playing against Carlton.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, King. I don't know if you watched the game, but Wiedering can't do it all by himself.
No, he can't. He can't do it all by himself.
Marks.
That's right.
He kept Charlie Dixon to 0 marks. Charlie Dixon didn't even look like he was there.
Exactly.
Wieders killed him. He killed him, Wieders.
Yeah.
But it's just the other Fruit Loops not supporting him.
But he just can't be he's expected. It looks like he's just expected to be your only backman and to do everything. So, there should be 2 or 3 others. You look at the other teams that have got their backline, that have got good backlines running. There's 3 or 4 players supporting each other and backing each other up. Wiedering's there by himself nearly all the time.
Exactly. And we were at the game. Sard is our last defender on Jason Horn-Francis.
Yeah.
Why is Sard a lockdown defender? Sard is a running off half back. That's the guy that gives you the speed.
To get the midfield going. Exactly. Yeah.
I've been scratching my head all week. It's just been I'm disgusted of Carlton right now. I'm pathetic. Should have never lost to Port Adelaide on Friday night. That game was in our hands at half time.
Yep.
In our hands.
Yep.
And one goal.
If Port beat Sydney this weekend, then they're definitely up there. That's for sure.
Look. I said to you and Chris a couple of weeks ago on the show, you need to believe in Port Adelaide, right?
Yeah.
If you're a Port Adelaide supporter, you need to believe. If they have confidence, it's a different ball game, right? As much as I personally think Port Adelaide are going to finish top 8. A lot of people were riding Port Adelaide off a couple of weeks ago, right? Mm-hmm. You don't ride off teams when it's this close, right, of a season. You can't ride teams off.
No, that's
Port
right.
Adelaide are now a game clear of the 8. They're making finals, all right? They've got Sydney. I think Port Adelaide can beat Sydney this week.
I think they can too.
Adelaide.
Yeah.
In Adelaide, after watching Sydney today, I think Port Adelaide can. Port Adelaide have Sydney at the best time, King.
Yeah. Exactly. Would you try getting Barras, Johnny Carlton?
No. Too much money. We do not have money to spend like that. We're not getting Barras.
Toby reckons we've got to get back to our players in the back line at Carlton because we haven't had it the last month. We've looked lost in the back line. That's very true.
We do. We look lost everywhere.
You do look lost. It is lost everywhere. The forward, I think Curno's been, like you said, he was looking lazy, but it wasn't until the Coleman got evened up that then suddenly someone's woken up and gone, oh, shit, I've got to kick a few goals.
Exactly. And I thought Charlie Curnow was our best player on Friday night.
He was everywhere, but he wasn't
There was
supported by any of the small forwards.
No, there was a stat called meters gained. Charlie Curnow was our top meters gained. He's a full forward, and he's running around the whole field more than anyone else.
Yeah.
He was on the field for 95% of the game. He only had 5% after the game. He was wrecked, the poor kid.
And how do you kick from 50 metres out when you're absolutely knackered? That's the problem.
And he had 2-on-1 against him the whole game, King. 2-on-1 the whole game.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
Anyway.
Yeah, no, Port were good. As much as Carlton played bad, do you give Port any credit? Yes. Thought our pressure was good. This is from Chrissy.
I thought it was very smart putting Radaglia forward because obviously Harry Mackay was out, so obviously they were going to test Carlton's backline, and they did perfectly. They shut down McGovern really well.
Yep.
And because if McGovern didn't have to go to Georgiades, McGovern would go to Jason Horne-Francis, and then that means that we could let Sard run off the leash.
Yeah.
But I don't think Butters was impressive. I don't think Rosie was impressive. I didn't think half of their players. I thought Bergman was pretty good. I thought Rioli was much needed there.
He was. He was a good in. Yep.
But as I said, and look, umpires was terrible in that game. Oh, I can't believe the free kicks that Carlton got. I can't even believe the free kicks that Port Adelaide got.
Yep.
Anyways, as I said, and look, I don't know if you watched the game, but do you think that's a goal when the ball hit the umpire? At the end, when the umpire got in the way?
Yeah,
do you think that's a goal?
It seemed, well, if it hits the umpire, it hit the umpire before it hit the post. So because it hit the umpire, does he then have to count that as a goal?
Well, I thought the rule was if it hits the umpire before it goes over the line, it's an umpire's call, and the umpire's call was a behind. So
yeah, right. Okay.
I don't know how it got overturned. But
I don't know how it. Yeah, I don't know what it should have been, to be honest. But what's the umpire doing stuck in the corner of the bloody post? To be honest, that'd be my question.
Exactly. So, anyways, I don't want to talk about it. The game's over. Thank God it's over.
Thank you for sharing what you wanted to share with us. I really appreciate it, and it was a good summary of how the team went. And look, they've just got to turn things around really quickly, and get back to being the Carlton that they were a couple of weeks ago.
All I'm asking is to be Collingwood this week.
That's all you're asking. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, let's do the live ladder and let's have
a look. So hang on, let me just go to that.
Seeing Carlton not in second is giving me anxiety.
That's it. Exactly. All right. AFL live ladder. All right. Sydney, Brisbane, Fremantle, Carlton in 5th, GWS. Sorry, Carlton in 4th, GWS in 5th. Okay, so 56, Sydney 56, Brisbane 50. So 1.5 games. So that's a nice buffer still for those two. So Sydney's still all right. Even if they lost to Port next week, they're still okay.
On top of the ladder. Yeah.
Fremantle and Brisbane both on 50. So
who's Brisbane got next week? St Kilda.
St Kilda, yeah.
Who's Freo got?
Freo's got who have they got?
I think it's Essendon.
Oh, is it? Well, they're knocking Essendon over. Don't worry about
that. I think it's here too.
All right. So if Brisbane couldn't win at Marvel before, but they're a different team now. So let's say both of those teams get a win, so they go to 54. Sydney Port beat Sydney 56, and then you still got the top three is still the same coming into that. Then you've got
wait. So Freo win, Brisbane win, they go 54.
54. Sydney's on 56.
And then Carlton 48.
48, yeah.
If we beat Collingwood, we go 52. So we still say
52.
fourth.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
So we need Essendon to win this week.
And who's playing GWS this week?
Hawthorn.
We need Hawthorn to beat GWS.
Yeah.
Which I think is possible at home, at their home, I think. So Carlton, GWS, both on 48, Geelong on 48, Port Adelaide on 48. So 4 teams on 48.
Who's Geelong got?
That's a good question. Who have they got? Hang on, let me go back to the matches. Round 20. All right. Where are they? St Kilda, Brisbane, Essendon, Fremantle.
There's Essendon, Freo.
Where's Geelong? Oh, Geelong, Adelaide. Geelong are beating Adelaide. Geelong are beating Adelaide, my friend.
And Port have Sydney.
Port have Sydney. Yep.
Is Essendon, Freo in Melbourne or over in Perth?
Essendon, Freo. Essendon is at the MCG.
Oh, I think the Bombers can win that.
Really?
I think they can win
They're
that.
rubbish. Jesus. They were terrible.
Okay. And then, so then Bulldogs are 8th. Who the Bulldogs got?
The Bulldogs have got Melbourne on Friday night.
Oh, shit. Melbourne are 11th. So who's Hawthorn's got Giants. Then 10th is the Bombers. They've got Freo. Then
and then
11th is.
Yep. So if the Bulldogs, the Bulldogs can knock over Melbourne, I think they could. The Bulldogs are on 44. That'd take them to 48.
Well, that's it. If Melbourne don't win this week, their season's done.
They're done.
Reckon.
Yeah, that's right. So they're sitting on 40, and then you're going to go to 44, or you're going to go to 48, or whatever. So yeah. And then Essendon on 42 because they've had the draw as well.
That helps them. The draw helps them.
It does, yeah. So, and then you've got Hawthorn on 44. So if Hawthorn can knock over GWS, they would go to 48, equal with GWS. It's going to be a crazy top 8 next weekend.
If I'm just saying now, if Bulldogs beat Melbourne and Carlton beat Collingwood, we knock off Melbourne and Collingwood for the rest of the year. Then we're down to 10 teams.
That's it, yeah. Because Gold Coast, beyond that, Gold Coast are gone. 13 down is gone now.
Yeah.
And then you've got, I don't think Essendon are getting back in the 8. Do you think they are getting back in the 8?
As much as they are pretenders,
yeah.
I don't know. I need them to beat Freo this week. I want them to beat Freo this week. I want Carlton to jump to 3rd.
Jeez, I watching Fremantle. They were fucking deadly, man. I know they were playing West Coast. I understand they were playing West Coast as a derby. I get that, but geez, they put some big scores on. Anyway, there we go. Look how close that ladder is, man. Far out.
Next week is going to be huge, but we'll talk about it on Tuesday.
That's right.
We'll talk about it on Tuesday.
Exactly. So there we go. And Freo good at the G, Genwell reckons. They do play well at the G. This week is big. Yep, it sure is. Need the Ds to win this week. So Genwell's Hawthorn, so she needs the Ds. I just don't think Melbourne are good enough. I don't know.
I think they will. I think the Ds might pull it off this week.
You reckon they're going to knock over the Bulldogs?
I think their season's on the line. I think the Ds might beat them.
Jeez, well, that's going to be our first watch along on Friday night. So it should be good.
Jesus.
All right, well, let's wrap up this episode 4 of After the Game. It's been another good chat and good catching up with the chat as well. Thank you everybody who's joined us and everybody who's watching along. And we'll be back on Tuesday night for the Footy podcast and wrapping up the weekend's round. Plus, we'll be doing our tips for next weekend. Next weekend is a huge round of footy. It's going to be massive. So, this is if Carlton can win this week, Johnny Carlton will be a very happy man. So
mate,
this is the one. This is the one, my friend.
This is the one.
Yeah, that's it. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining us tonight, and another good after the game. We'll be back next week to wrap up next week's games, and I'm sure there's going to be some surprises. So anyway, take care, Johnny Carlton. Have a good week.
Okay.
And don't forget, guys, stay hunky.
Thank you.